I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but this year, Beijing feels completely different. The streets that were once packed with people now feel cold, quiet, and strangely hollow. The city looks vast, but the footsteps have disappeared. Shanghai still shines with its familiar luxury, yet beneath the bright lights lies a silent emptiness. Shopping malls echo, intersections feel abandoned, and the crowds that once defined the city seem to have vanished. Even security checkpoints and police stations, places that used to be busy all day long, now feel deserted. Malls have closed, night markets are empty, and traffic lights no longer gather lines of waiting pedestrians like they once did. Guangzhou, a metropolis of more than 21 million people, tells the same story. Shoppers have thinned out, malls feel strangely hollow, and entire districts appear drained of life. Many people are asking the same question. How did the world's largest population suddenly shrink into silence? In countless cities, county seats, and rural townships, apartment buildings stand dark at night, with only a few windows lit. Whole neighborhoods look abandoned as residents leave in search of work elsewhere. Officials continue to talk about national revitalization, but ordinary people are witnessing another reality. Young people are avoiding marriage, postponing childbirth, and refusing to buy homes. Many say they no longer have the confidence to plan for the next decade, or even the next few years. The government claims China's population is still around 1.4 billion, but videos from bloggers across the country show empty plazas, quiet streets, and villages without young adults. People are asking bluntly, if there are really 1.4 billion people, where is everyone? According to official numbers, the population only dropped by 1.39 million by the end of 2024. But the emptiness people feel in their daily lives doesn't match that number. Many analysts say the decline should be slow and predictable, yet the dramatic emptiness captured on video feels unnatural. Some believe the 3-year pandemic changed China more deeply than anyone expected. Years of strict birth control policies further damaged the population structure, leading to the extremely low birth rates people are witnessing now. A deeper issue is that all population data is state-controlled, and no one can independently verify the true numbers. But what people see speaks louder than statistics. A villager from Shipu village in Fujian said their primary school once had 2 first-grade classes with more than 100 students. This year, first grade has only 6 children. In nearby Jiangpu village, there is just 1 first grader in the entire village. Travel anywhere, north, south, east, or west, and you see the same scene. Cities feel empty, villages even more so, and the young have all left. Cheap clothing stalls with 10 or 15 yuan items remain unsold. Small city vendors sleep on their stalls just to pass the time. Markets that once bustled with noise now feel like abandoned film sets. Roads are quiet, towns are quiet, and shopping areas look frozen in time. Some netizens in Guangdong became angry when people said there are no people left. But it's not literal. What they mean is that the population is falling at a speed never seen before. 14 years ago, shopping centers overflowed during weekends. Night markets stayed open until 2 a.m. Now most of them close before midnight. Renting used to be a struggle due to demand. Today, housing is abundant and surprisingly cheap. Clothing stores that once filled entire streets have dwindled to a handful, and once thriving supply chains are fading. In villages, most of the remaining residents are elderly. In one village, several people passed away in just 2 months, while no new children had been born in years. Many fear their hometowns will disappear completely. Even in Shanghai, areas outside the core districts show noticeably fewer people. Business towers, office zones, and even metro stations no longer feel crowded like they once did. Across the country, a strange phenomenon is emerging. Business streets, pedestrian zones, industrial areas, and night markets feel empty, both day and night. Take Wuma Street in Wenzhou. Once so crowded you could barely walk, now videos show only a few pedestrians wandering around. Wenzhou is said to have more than 9 million residents, yet the streets seem hollow and forgotten. People are asking the same unsettling question everywhere. If China truly has 1.4 billion people, why do villages, towns, county-level cities, and even megacities feel half empty? In Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, prime commercial areas are filled with for sale, for rent, and for transfer signs. The gap between official statistics and the emptiness people witness daily is growing too big to ignore. In northeastern China, especially in Heilongjiang, rural depopulation is severe. In some villages, 7 or 8 out of 10 houses stand empty. Homes have been abandoned for years, chimneys are cold, and not even smoke rises in the mornings. In Jiangxi, a once bustling village of more than 1,000 homes is now inhabited by just one elderly person. It looks like a scene straight out of a post-apocalyptic film. The pandemic reshaped the country in ways that remain largely unspoken. Many records were never shared publicly. Cities and villages alike show signs of population decline. Some experts estimate tens of millions may be missing from the population count. Official data shows that by 2025, China's birth rate fell to 7.24 per 1,000 people, with only about 4 million births in the first half of the year. Experts predict that total births this year may fall below 8 million, or even below 6 million. One researcher, after visiting more than 10 gynecology hospitals across China, said the real birth numbers are shockingly low. And unless births suddenly explode near the end of the year, something biologically impossible, the decline will continue. In many county-level cities, malls reportedly have more dogs than people. From Shanghai to Chengdu, from the northeast to the south, the pattern remains the same. Cities are quieter, rural towns colder, and public spaces emptier than ever before. People keep asking, where did everyone go? Human beings need to live, to eat, to work. So why does the entire country feel like it's shrinking into silence? Villages that once echoed with laughter are now silent, filled only with the wind and the sound of insects. Many say the population today feels even smaller than it did in the 1970s or 1980s. And as you travel across the country, the question becomes impossible to ignore. What happened to China's missing people? Across China, countless videos on social media reveal the same unsettling pattern. Deserted streets stretching into the distance, echoing malls with more security guards than shoppers, silent bus stops where no one waits, and villages where grass grows through cracked roads. Entire towns are turning into no-people zones, as if time has stopped. The disappearance of crowds, once the most visible symbol of China's rapid growth, has become impossible to ignore. In Taiyuan, Shanxi, residents remember a completely different city. Back in 2016, Taiyuan was alive, shopping districts bursting with noise, restaurants overflowing, subways packed shoulder to shoulder, and nightlife thriving until late at night. But today, those same areas feel strangely hollow. At 9 p.m., a time when the city used to pulse with energy, streets now look half empty, and shop owners stand behind their counters staring into the distance, waiting for customers who never arrive. Office towers that once symbolized economic ambition are now dim and vacant, floors upon floors filled with empty rooms. One resident, after 6 months of trying, still couldn't rent out a simple 2-bedroom apartment. It's not about price anymore, there simply aren't enough people looking. Many say young adults have vanished from daily life. Villages have become communities of elderly residents, while big cities no longer have the youthful hustle that once defined them. Even inside subways, once a symbol of urban pressure, the crowds are gone. Cars roll in with only a handful of passengers, leaving long rows of empty seats. Some people in their 40s joke bitterly that they now feel like the young ones in public spaces because there are so few people under 30 around. The demographic shift is so obvious that no statistics are needed. You can see it simply by walking outside. In China's northeast, the situation feels even heavier. Residents say the population loss of their hometowns is heartbreaking. Whole neighborhoods look abandoned, schools have merged grades due to too few students, and factories shut down because there aren't enough workers to keep them running. Local reports claim the number of missing people has increased, with disappearances occurring among different age groups, adding another layer of anxiety to communities already struggling. Nighttime videos from rural areas show eerie scenes. Groups of villagers quietly gathering on roadside corners, whispering about what the future might hold, while unmarked trucks move slowly through the dim streets. Many residents say that their fear is no longer about the hardships of the past. It's the uncertainty of tomorrow that keeps them awake at night. The silence spreading across China is more than just a lack of people. It's a reflection of a deeper shift. Streets once filled with life now feel like empty reminders of what used to be, leaving millions wondering what comes next.
The economy is spiraling into a severe and terrifying recession. Factories are shutting down, shopping centers are deserted, and unemployment is spreading at an alarming rate. In major cities like Guangzhou and Shenzhen, heartbreaking scenes of homeless people sleeping across sidewalks and parks have become tragically common. The human toll is staggering. The garment industry, Guangzhou's pride in the heart of China's textile and apparel sector, is suffering the most. Workshops that once operated 24/7 to meet international demand now face production stagnation, plummeting orders, and massive layoffs. Many large garment companies have been forced to shut down entirely. Workers who were once essential contributors to the economy now face unemployment, no income, and no clear way to survive. Kenglujiang, Guangzhou's largest garment production village, once hosted tens of thousands of workshops employing 300,000 to 400,000 workers. Today, the market is bleak. Online videos show the city's largest wholesale clothing market, normally bustling in October, almost empty, with booths closed and few merchants willing to rent them. Main streets are plastered with for sale signs for factories, while job postings are scarce. Industry insiders reveal that the traditional golden September, silver October peak season has become a mirage. Garment production villages with hundreds of thousands of workers are now crippled by severe labor shortages and falling demand. "I can't find a job. I stay here every day paying rent and eating only steamed buns," said one worker. "I can't survive in Guangzhou any longer. So I live on my savings and help my landlord." Business owners describe the collapse as brutal. Profits are minuscule. Workers refuse to work at low rates. Customers reject high prices. Rents climb every year, and losses are unavoidable. Off-seasons bring tens or hundreds of thousands of yuan in losses, while peak seasons force them to increase salaries. Any lost client can push factories into bankruptcy. Unless a factory is massive with loyal clients, even non-stop work from morning till night barely keeps it alive. One owner warns newcomers not to rush to Guangzhou. "Wait and see. Wholesale stalls are empty. Clothes are produced, but nobody wears them." In Kenglujiang, over 300,000 workers used to produce 100 to 1,000 woven garments daily. Now most people have more clothes than they can ever use. Entire areas are being demolished, leaving only a few factories in Lujiang, Kangle, and Zhuzhou. Roadside signs advertise factories, yet customers are nearly impossible to find. Some owners wait 10 days, even half a month, without a single inquiry. Catching a customer is like fishing. Prices have plummeted. A shirt that once paid 6 or 7 yuan now barely earns 4. A collar once 6 mayo now fetches only 1 yuan during peak season. Employers face too many wolves, too little meat. Factories struggle to survive even with long hours and exhausted workers. A factory owner running a workshop for nearly 10 years told local media that harsh market conditions have decimated business. 30 workers remain. Hiring is frozen because daily wages for unskilled labor are already high. Skilled workers cutting fabric earn monthly wages, often without insurance. Most products are exported to Russia or sold via Amazon, while domestic sales go to Guangzhou wholesale markets like Shisanhong and Quangqian. Another factory producing hoodies and t-shirts explained the crisis. "Too many factories are going bankrupt. We used to worry about stock shortages. Now, even with enough stock, we still worry. Paying monthly salaries is a struggle. Customers want only a month's worth of goods, and Middle Eastern clients offer rock-bottom prices. We almost make no profit." This is the reality across the entire industry. Kanglu Road and Chaonan New Road were once havens for migrant workers. Technical workers earned over 500 yuan per day, working 15-16 hours. Now, job seekers hunt for 500 yuan positions in the morning, dropping to 400, 300, or even 200 yuan by afternoon. Work is scarce, and dozens compete for a single job posting. A worker in Lujiang, Kangal district, described the grim reality. Thousands roam unemployed, unable to earn enough for food or rent. Many plan to return to their hometowns, where at least a hot meal is guaranteed. Internet personality in Kiet, who once worked as an extra in Beijing, moved to a Guangzhou garment village, juggling sewing and filming videos for online traffic. He earned 225 yuan for 9 hours of work. By May, he declared himself unemployed. The labor market is brutal. 10,000 daily job seekers at the largest garment labor market compete for a handful of positions. Only 300 are hired, leaving 97% out of luck. Odd jobs became his main income, but without stability, even basic needs were insecure. Feeling drained and hopeless, Kiet decided to leave Guangzhou for work in Vietnam. Temporary labor bosses in Guangzhou's garment villages can no longer support me, he said. This is not just an economic downturn, it's a human catastrophe. Factories closing, streets empty, tens of thousands of desperate workers struggling to survive. China's once booming economy is crashing, and millions are paying the ultimate price. China is in the grip of a deep economic crisis, and the signs are impossible to ignore. Social observer Che Fong told Book Time that unemployment is spreading rapidly as businesses face collapsing orders, widespread layoffs, and company closures. He warned that this trend will continue to intensify. The root of the downturn, he explained, lies in massive withdrawals of foreign investment. Today, finding work in any sector has become extremely difficult, and every profession carries risks. Workers in foreign trade have a slightly better outlook, but the domestic economic cycle is effectively frozen. Restaurants, factories, and service businesses are being forced to close, leaving streets unusually empty as employees return to their hometowns. According to Che Fong, the recent ceasefire and easing of the U.S.-China trade war are only temporary measures. In the long term, they are no solution. The domestic economy has essentially died, leaving only foreign trade as a lifeline. And if foreign trade is blocked, there is nowhere to turn. In Guangzhou and Kunshan, two of China's largest manufacturing hubs, production has slowed dramatically, and migrant workers are returning home earlier than ever. Social media videos show factories closing, projects delayed, and buses and trains overflowing with workers leaving weeks ahead of the usual schedule. From Shandong bus station to old train carriages, the waves of migrant laborers with luggage are unrelenting. Netizens describe it as the premature end of the migrant labor season and the start of early family reunions. At Guangzhou's Shandong bus hub, one woman filmed a crowded scene of workers waiting for long-distance buses. The lack of work in the city is pushing more people home earlier than in past years. Zinca users comment that the wave of migrant workers has passed, and reunions are beginning. Buses line the streets, filled with large and small bags, carrying workers back to Hubei, Hunan, Jiangxi, and other provinces. Those who haven't reached Guangzhou yet are advised to stay home, as the city no longer has jobs waiting for them. Construction workers are feeling the economic crisis sharply. A Panyu worker said his projects were halted and wages unpaid, forcing him to leave. Long-distance buses from Guangzhou are carrying waves of migrant workers home earlier than usual, as factories start holiday breaks weeks ahead. A video from November 4th shows crowded trains, the first wave from Kunshan heading home for Lunar New Year, despite 103 days still remaining. Typically, peak travel begins in mid-December, but this year it started a month early, signaling falling orders in manufacturing and construction. A Nanjing University sociologist said this early return reflects structural decline in mid- and low-level sectors, driven by shrinking wages and reduced hours. Without recovery in early next year, migrant workers returning to cities could hit a near-decade low. Chinese social media is full of comments noting that, even without rising ticket prices, many workers are leaving early. "You won't make money at home, but at least you won't lose it," one user said. Analysts attribute this early exodus to stagnant manufacturing, weak consumer recovery, and unpaid wages. From November 4th, 14 strikes or collective wage claims were reported nationwide, highlighting tight corporate cash flow and growing risks for workers. Strikes reveal the financial strain of manufacturers facing falling export orders and unpaid government construction debts. At BASF Jiang Station, workers reported 5 months of unpaid wages, forcing some to stop work. Employees from Jiangsu and Henan traveled to claim salaries, but management repeatedly delayed payment. Partial wages were eventually paid, while some subcontractors fled. Videos show workers in blue overalls and yellow helmets protesting, with police present amid clashes. Many struggle to afford basic living costs, including school expenses for their children, and are considering collective legal action. The economic downturn is not limited to Guangzhou. Across China, manufacturing, construction, and service sectors face unprecedented pressure. Cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen are not exempt. Citizens are cutting spending, deflation is rising, malls are empty, small shops close, and essential goods no longer sell as before. Companies struggle to maintain revenue, SMEs shut down, and large corporations cut staff while adjusting strategies. Yet the Beijing government continues to present a facade of strength and prosperity. Propaganda campaigns and party messages stress economic recovery and sustainable growth, and large-scale events showcase military and economic power. But beneath the surface, reality tells a different story. Citizens are losing faith in the system. High inflation, soaring unemployment, and rising living costs leave millions feeling trapped in a shrinking economy. China's crisis is visible in every street, factory, and household. Migrant workers return home earlier than ever, strikes rage over unpaid wages, and countless businesses collapse. From empty bus stations to deserted malls, the human and economic toll is immense. The official narrative of recovery clashes with the harsh reality. Millions are struggling, jobs are vanishing, and the domestic economy is teetering on the brink of collapse.